The sad truth about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, or the red pill truth, I should say. So, someone sent me this article, and I saw it briefly, but I just didn't have time to really think about it. And I had known that Prince Harry was kind of cucked by this woman. Now, she's hot, she's sexy, right? But as far as I know, and I could be wrong, but if my information is correct, and I haven't followed this incredibly close, but I know a lot about it because it's, Prince Harry's kind of being cucked by this woman. I think he gave up his military duties, and he also gave up his, I don't know if it's his citizenship or his royalty or something. He gave something up that was big, and I think it was his royalty status or something like that, so that he could move to America to be with this woman, Meghan. Now, I do know that she is over 40 years old, or she's like 39, 40, which is crazy old. I think he's only in his 30s, early 30s. And she's been married before, I know that. And she's like a Hollywood girl, blah, blah, blah. So she's been used. I mean, Hollywood girls it's no secret that they are loose sexually. Hollywood girls have been around. So this is the article, which says, Prince Harry is a henpecked husband who must stand up to Meghan Markle, royal expert says. Now, I like British people. I like England. I think there's a lot of lore, Lore there. I think there's a lot of romance about that area. It's got, obviously, deep in history. It's where Americans came from originally, Europe, right? And, the UK, all that area. So there's, it's deep in history. It's deep in masculinity with the kings and whatnot, and for some reason, they let a queen rule because that's just how their aristocracy works or whatever, and it's just been weird. And I don't really care too much to get too deep into all that bullshit because I'm not from the UK. I'm not from England, but I like it. I had some friends growing up who were from England, and I like their style. I think it's kind of cool. I've always wanted to go there. I've never been there, but I've always wanted to go there. I could see myself living there at some point. There's a lot of cool things about England and the UK, but I've never been and I'm sure that they themselves are really proud of their monarchy and, their royal aristocracy and whatnot. I've got my opinions about that. I don't think that a country should be ruled by a monarchy. Obviously, its history is deep and bloody, and probably, someone used the word dictatorship as far as monarchy is concerned. But my point ultimately is that there's a lot of rich history there. There's a lot of lore, Lore. There's a lot of romance, behind that. So because of that, we've got Disney movies, and we've got a lot of childhood stories and things like that, which means that a lot of young kids, when they're young, they grow up wishing that they were part of the royal family, or the young women grew up wishing they could marry a prince. Why? Because he's going to turn into a king, because he's the ruler, and this is all part of hypergamy, right? So the sad red pill truth here is that Meghan Markle married a prince, and the sad truth, unfortunately, is that it sends the message, if you read between the lines, that it sends the message that any woman, no matter how bad her past is, can wind up marrying a prince, because this is female mentality. This is female nature. This is how women operate. They operate based on hypergamy, which is, I want the best guy for what my looks can garnish me. And this is how women operate. They use their looks to get perks. They use their looks and sex. This is why you can't get laid very easily, because sex is a bartering tool for women to land the highest value man that they can. So when a divorced woman who's from Hollywood, of course, maybe a lot of plebeians and your average Joe doesn't realize that Hollywood is basically Sodom, right? 90% of the world's porn is shot in Hollywood, or San Fernando Valley, which is real close to Hollywood, real close to LA, right? So, that's all, whether it's North California or South California, the whole state of California is just rotten as far as morals is concerned. All the porn is filmed there. Hollywood people are plastic and phony and fake, and there's a lot of pedophiles, which has been coming out a lot. These, Harvey Weinsteins and Jeffrey Epsteins, they're all movers and shakers in the Hollywood game. I'm not saying every actor is a pedophile, but, stuff has been exposed, right? So she comes from that, right? Which, people, this is what people who don't have God or don't have morals or don't have a sound ethical foundation or don't have wholesome standards or a wholesome foundation or have bad parents, whatever. This is what everyone dreams of. And I myself have not, I've definitely been a victim of dreaming of becoming a star like Leo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt and all this bullshit. Like I'm not exempt from that. Like growing up, I used to want to be an actor. I used to want to be a Hollywood star, blah, blah, blah. But you learn as you get older and you really start to study that it's just a big club, right? And you aren't in it. And it's a club where there's a lot of dirty secrets behind the scenes. And I don't need to get too much into conspiracy theories and things like that, but you can do your due diligence and do your research on your own. It's all out there, right? So she comes from that. And this is what little girls, young girls, they want to be. They want to grow up and they want to be a movie star and they want to marry a prince. So she's literally living the dream of like almost every young girl ever. Right now, of course, not every girl. Some girls are different. They just want a nice little family, and they want this one, right? But most young girls dream of being a Hollywood actress and marrying a prince, and that's literally what Meghan Markle did. Now, she was pretty well unknown. She wasn't a known actress, right? I don't think many people knew who she was. She's just your regular, hot girl on a sitcom, or I don't even know what she did. Like I said, I haven't done an incredible amount of studying on this, but so she hit the jackpot. And again, she's 39 years old when she married him, and she had been married before. And when you're from Hollywood, it's pretty much guaranteed you're going to be loose sexually because they're all banging down there, right? It ain't no monastery full of nuns down there, so I'm sure she has a very lucrative sexual past. Now this is just conjecture. I'm not saying for sure. I don't know. She could be a very nice Christian girl who has values, but I doubt it. So the reason why this is bad for men, specifically for men, is because first of all, his behavior is simping. His behavior is beta with this woman. She is really leading the relationship, and I don't even need to read this article, to confirm that. She's a political girl. She is really just running the relationship. She's, everyone from Hollywood is political and outspoken, and now all of a sudden Harry's getting political and trying to speak out, and we don't like this and we don't like that, all this shit, because she's telling him to. This is really what a lot of women want. And I say most women, they really want to run the show. And this is their narcissism. Many women are just narcissistic. They're solipsistic and narcissistic, and they want to run the show. One way or the other. They want to pull strings. And they use men as utility. They use men as a means to an end. And she's got all the, he's checked off all her boxes. She's got all her boxes checked off. He's rich, check. He's good looking, check. He's a prince, amazing, check, right? He's got power and influence, check. So he's got looks, money, status to a T, and he's basically about as high value as an eligible bachelor can get with being a prince. I mean, it really doesn't get any higher than that, unless you're like Michael Jackson or something, and maybe even that is arguably not as high value as a single bachelor prince, right? So she landed herself a prince, okay? I mean, I can't really, underscore or overstate how much that plays into female nature, how much that plays into female hypergamy. I mean, that's like, every young kid grows up dreaming of playing baseball in the major leagues, or playing basketball in the NBA, or being a millionaire, being a, whatever, being a billionaire, right? Every kid grows up, thinking of these lofty things like, man, I could do that, or I could be the president, or I could do, like, all these things that kids dream of. This is what women dream of. They dream of marrying a prince. This is female nature. That's what they want. They want the man with the highest value. This is why you're not getting a text back. This is why no one's responding to you on Tinder or Plenty of Fish or whatever, right? This is why you don't get, Plenty of Fish is a bad one. I'll say Match.com or, Bumble, whatever, right? This is why nobody's responding to you, because of hypergamy, because you are not high enough value, because even though you have good intentions, you want to marry a nice girl, right? You want to love a nice girl, you got a lot of love to give. That's not enough. This is female nature. That is not enough for women. They want everything in a bag of chips, right? They want it all. And this is what it is. And then when they get it, they start to rule if you let them. Now, he could put his foot down and say, hey, bitch, I'm a prince. I got a lot of choices and I didn't have to choose you. I love you and you can be my wife and you can be by my side, but I'm running this shit because I'm a man. But she's a feminist. She's this and that. And he's getting cucked. Right? If you want to see a funny sight, go watch their marriage. I saw parts of their marriage, and then look at how, look at the pictures, of the Queen, or Google pictures of the Queen angry at Meghan Markle, and it shows a picture of her staring Meghan Markle down with this death stare, right? I mean, some people say that Princess Diana was assassinated, so I'm just saying, like, Queen Elizabeth loves her grandkids or whatever. She loves Harry, and maybe they might not even be hers. Maybe, there's some rumors that Princess Diana was floozing around, and maybe the kids might not be hers. That's a possibility. But anyway, I don't want to get too much into conspiracy theories and royal talk and all this crap, because they're all kind of weirdos and they're all, messed up in their own way. But bottom line, this guy married a solipsistic feminist, and I have no doubt that she's really running the show behind the scenes. If you look at their body language, if you look at the things that he's done since they got married, doesn't look good for Harry. He's getting ran. He's getting game ran on him. But the sad thing is that this is a sad thing for men everywhere, because this is the prince. Like, this is as high value as you can get, right? It really doesn't get much higher than that. The Prince of England, which is, again, this is where we all come from. This is where all Americans come from, right? So if he's getting cucked, if he's getting simped at that, if he's becoming a simp at that level for this used up woman, right? This feminist, right? Then what about all of us? What chance do we have? This just sends the message that pussy is the most powerful thing on earth. Pussy is the most precious material on the earth, and men will do anything for it, even give up their royalty. I mean, this is just a common woman. Like, okay, she was in Hollywood, like, but 39 years old? She looks good, she looks great, but 39 years old? And married once before? I mean, come on, Harry, So women everywhere are like, oh, look, guarantee it. This is how women think. Oh, look, Meghan Markle can marry a prince, so I can sleep around and get divorced, and I can still find a high value man. That's the problem here. This is the red pill problem with this whole scenario. And it's just sad, man. It really is sad, because it's like, again, what message is this sending? What message is this sending to the whole world? Pussy is more powerful than anything a man can do. Men will give up their kingdom for pussy, right? They will like Helen of Troy, right? Started wars, launched ships, launched 1,000 ships, the face that launched 1,000 ships or whatever. That's insane, man. when you really think about it. I mean, this guy's cucked on another level. And the sad thing is he's probably just a nice kid. I've always liked him. I've always liked Harry. He seems like a really nice kid. Seems like a really nice guy. He really does. And they will take advantage of that. Women will take advantage of your weakness. Oh, you don't show resolve and leadership from the very beginning? Oh, okay, well, I'll take advantage of that. You're a nice guy, you're a pushover? Oh, okay, I'll take advantage of that. This is the guy that they go for when they say, oh, I want to settle down with a nice guy after they've ridden the cock carousel, right? This is the nice guy they settle down for. And what do when they get that? They run the show. They run the ship. They wear the pants in the relationship. I've been saying this for years. This is one of the main things I always say on my channel. I don't know about most, but I'd say a very good percentage, at least 60% to 70% of marriages are really kind of ran by the woman. And yes, the man works, and yes, he makes the money, and yes, he, puts the food on the table, but she's really making a lot of the decisions. And I can't tell you how many times I've met guys who were like, let me check with my wife first. Let me ask my wife if I should do this. Let me ask my wife if I can do that. It's like, ugh, are you not a man? Do you not make your own decisions? So your wife does everything? Your wife is running the show, man. And this is what it is with Prince Harry. Unfortunately, this is what it's becoming. And it's becoming that way in a very public way. Everybody sees it. Right? I mean, it's right here. Prince Harry is a henpecked husband who must stand up to Meghan Markle, royal experts say. She's running the show, man. She's got this guy cucked. He's cucked. I mean, unfortunately, look at this. He doesn't have a backbone. And it's not to say that he's not a masculine guy. It's not to say that, he's just passive. Men shouldn't really be passive. And I've been passive. I've made this mistake a lot in my life. Men have to be men. Men have to say, hey, I'm the man. I run the show. Now, this is the problem when you're raised that women are equal with men. This is the problem when you're raised on an equality basis, right? On a 50-50. Well, women can do 50%, men can do 50%. This is the problem, is women end up running the show. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a tyrant. I'm not saying you need to be a dictator. I'm not saying you need to be a total asshole who's ruling you can't be that far, but you have to have resolve. No, I'm not going to do some bullshit that I don't want to do. No, I'm not going to, let you run the show. I'm not going to let you run the relationship. And I've lost many relationships this way, where the woman, eventually I realized that I've got no control over her. I got no say over her. She's going to do what she wants to do, and I'll be lucky if she gives me the time of day. And that's not a relationship that I want. I want a woman, I'm not saying I want a woman to be totally subjective to me, but I want her to at least be submissive to me, at least insofar as, she doesn't try to make me do what she wants to do, right? Hey, we're in this together. We're doing this thing. And we're a team, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to, shuck off my morals or shuck off what I want to do or do what you want to do so I can make you happy, like this bullshit, happy wife, happy life crap. Right? This is what it is, man. This is what a lot of these relationships are founded on. Happy wife, happy life. So I got to kowtow and bend my will to make her happy. And eventually she's just running the show. And does this really help the woman? Does this really make her happy? Not really. Because she never grows up. I've seen many women who have been wives for 10 years, 20 years, who they never really grow up. They're never really mature mentally. You can tell, like socially, just being around them, you can tell because they always got their way. And this is what happens with, I personally, I call this the princess syndrome. I call it the princess syndrome because they feel like they're the princess. They feel like, the princess gets everything she wants. I've heard women so many times say, I always get what I want. I always get what I want. Well, how? By trading pussy, by using sex as a lure, by tricking men into being your, your whipping boys or your little tools to do your bidding. And this is how, orbiting starts and happens. This is how women, mess with all these simps on the internet. And because you got to stop that shit, man. You got to stop worshiping the pussy. Take the pussy off the pedestal. Because these men are worshiping pussy because they've put her on a pedestal. Oh, she's so special, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is the power. I mean, it is the power of pussy to a good extent, right? This is how women have leveraged sex and pussy in order to whip men, in order to, and God, I've suffered from it. I know I have. With past girlfriends and wishing I could get them back and wishing I did something different. And they're really just tyrants. These women are tyrants. Solipsistic, narcissistic tyrants. Why would you want to reward that just for some pussy? Like, okay, the sex is good. She's got good pussy. Like, so what though? You can get that anywhere. Go to a strip club. Offer her $300. She'll suck you and fuck you. Like, I'm not saying that's legal or, I'm not telling you to go do that, but I'm just saying that's how easy it is to get pussy. Like, pussy is not as valuable as you think it is. But men are giving up their whole lives for it. And even worse than pussy, love. Men, even a deeper trap, a deeper spider's web than sex is love. Women leverage love. They leverage sex. They leverage these things over men to get what they want from us. And they don't love us like we love them. They don't love us with their whole heart and idealistically and sacrificially. They don't love us with a sacrificial love. They love their children that way, many of them. But then again, a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't love their children that way. A lot of them murder their babies. They abort, right? Which is a sick thing. Very sick. And yeah, men encourage women to do it too. I understand that. But still, very sick for a mother, because you could see some asshole who just wanted to get laid, and he's like, oh, we just had sex, and you got laid, and I just wanted to get I wanted to get a nut off, and I got my rocks off, but I don't want a kid with you. Like, I could see that. But a mother, like, once you get pregnant, even if you don't like the guy, it's like, that's still your baby, man. And like, there's a maternal instinct that should be, very almost closer than a paternal instinct, than a father's instinct to save that child. And I know many women who would never go that far to murder their own baby, But they don't love us, man. They don't love us in the same way. They don't love us in the same way. They don't love men in the same way that men love women. And they know this, and they know they've got all kinds of options. And I read a meme the other day that said, well, how come women can get over breakups a lot quicker than men can? Because they've got unlimited options. All they do is walk outside. And this is why they've always got that smirk on them, that smirk on their face, that undeserved sense of self-accomplishment. Well, I know I can get any guy I want because I'm hot. Like, yeah, kind of true. You can get most of the guys you want. Maybe not a guy who really has values. Maybe not a guy who really, is seeking for some inner substance from a woman. But how many men are like that today? So many men are just raised on porn, and all they want is sex. They don't have any standards or lists. You should have a list for the women have lists, but don't be like a woman's list where, like, he's tall, he's dark and handsome, he's the prince, he's got $1 million, he's successful in his career, he's got a nice house. Like, that's a materialistic list. You should have an intrinsic list. Like, she needs to be funny, she needs to be kind, she needs to have a good character, she needs to be honest, she needs to not be a slut, she needs to have self-respect, she needs to have integrity, she needs to have morals. Like, those are the traits and the standards and the characteristics you want of a woman to raise your child. But what are you going to marry a woman for to raise your child if all she has to offer is sex, nice tits, great ass, sucks great dick? Like, that's it? So you want a kid with her just because of that? Like, that makes you a shitty person. That makes you a shitty man. It makes you a shitty father. You should never have a child only based on the fact that the mother has nice sexual features or nice, she's good in bed, or like, never. You should never marry a woman, never have a child with a woman on those bases. You should have a standard list for character. But this is the core problem, is that guys don't do that. They're just looking at these women as sex objects in a way, right? Yes, she's beautiful. Yes, she's breathtaking, but that doesn't mean she's a good person. Women are very good at smiling and pretending to be a certain way, and it's called love bombing, right? It's something narcissists do to get you to fall for them at the beginning of a relationship, and then they change. And this is what these women are doing. It's very easy for a woman to pretend to be a certain way for a couple of years until you marry her, because she wants something out of you. She wants that ring. She wants that commitment. And then once you got that commitment, slowly she's going to degrade into, bossing you around, running the relationship, telling you what to do. And they're experts at doing this. And you wonder, you got to wonder, like, why? Why go to all that effort? Because it's ego. It's narcissism. This is the female princess syndrome. I'm a princess. I deserve this. And I deserve that. Like, it's narcissism. They're warped. Their parents failed. Society failed. We are not giving young women checks and balances. We are not giving them character lessons. We are not giving them morals. We are not telling them or teaching them how to behave properly in a relationship or in society. They're raised on MTV. They're raised on Avril Lavigne and Gwen Stefani and Beyonce and Kesha, and the list goes on, and Kim Kardashian and Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and Pregnant at 18, and all this bullshit, this horrible, evil shit that they put out on MTV. And it's all part of that Marxist agenda. It's all part of that feminist agenda to destabilize the family unit. Let me see if I can find this picture real quick before I end this. Saw this amazing picture the other day. Here it is. Here's a feminist in 1969. Let me see if I can pull this up. Give me a second. 1969, she said this. Now this, 69, that's second wave feminism. First wave feminism was 1920s or early 30s, right? That was first wave feminism, which objectively, as far as its tenets are concerned, I somewhat agree with. But second wave feminism, right, rode in on the coattails of the civil rights movement, the black struggle, right? Feminism sort of came in on the wake of all that, like, oh yeah, well, while we're at it, women, we want the stigma removed around sex, and men are evil, and all this, blah, blah. So check this picture out. I saw this meme. Look at this. This is a feminist. Her name is Linda Gordon. She's a Jewish feminist, probably from this magazine or whatever called Functions on the Family. Women, a Journal of Liberation, fall 1969. She says the nuclear family must be destroyed, and people must find better ways of living together. Whatever its ultimate meaning, the breakup of families now is an objectively revolutionary process. What a disgusting, evil, horrible, satanic thing to say. Why? Why should families be broken up? When families are broken up, the kids get messed up. When families are broken up, society gets messed up. The kids grow up to commit crime. The kids grow up to be in jail. This is fact. This is statistics. Why would the nuclear family be destroyed? Why should we uplift single mothers? Why should we uplift the, promiscuity agenda? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Why? Because you don't want